Something about Michio Kaku's expression didn't sit right. This wasn't the confident, endlessly curious theoretical physicist we were used to seeing on television screens, casually explaining the mysteries of the cosmos. No, this time was different. He hesitated. His voice cracked slightly. His gaze lingered too long on a single image displayed behind him. And when he finally spoke, the room full of elite scientists, journalists, and space historians froze in absolute silence. The presentation was supposed to explore new data from lunar observation satellites. But what unfolded instead sent shockwaves through the scientific community and far beyond it. This wasn't just another batch of data. It felt like a cosmic confession. Something hiding beneath the moon's surface had just rewritten everything we thought we knew. And by the end of this story, you may understand why Michio Kaku could no longer hold back his tears. Because what researchers claimed to have found beneath the moon's surface didn't appear natural. Kaku began with a revelation that seemed to dismantle decades of scientific agreement. Using newly deployed quantum deep imaging satellites, researchers scanned the moon's subsurface with technology more advanced than anything previously attempted. Instead of solid rock, the scans revealed massive hollow chambers. Some of these chambers stretched for hundreds of kilometers and were arranged in symmetrical patterns that no natural process could easily explain. These voids weren't ancient lava tubes or random air pockets. They showed structure, regularity, and alignment. In other words, they appeared intentional. Then thermal readings revealed localized heat sources pulsing from within these cavities. The temperatures were too precise and too concentrated to be explained by geology. In that moment, the entire room seemed to feel the weight of something unsettling. Something inside the moon wasn't just designed, it might still be active in some way. Whether it was a reactor, a machine, or some kind of monument, Kaku didn't directly say. He didn't need to. The data itself was disturbing enough. Then came the patterns. For years, scientists had noticed gravitational anomalies around the moon. They were usually dismissed as small measurement errors or harmless inconsistencies. But when the new data mapped these anomalies in high definition, they revealed something extraordinary. They formed a global grid, stretching from pole to pole, perfectly aligned with the internal cavities and reflective metallic regions discovered by radar. This wasn't random. It looked engineered. Kaku displayed gravitational maps from 3 independent agencies. All of them showed the same structure, a kind of lunar lattice, an invisible skeleton supporting the moon's internal structure with unsettling precision. If this grid were functional, if it still had power, it could mean the moon was doing more than simply orbiting Earth. It might actually be influencing Earth's tides, stabilizing its axis, and possibly regulating other planetary systems. In Kaku's words, the moon might not simply be a satellite. It might be a regulator. And if it was placed, if it was built, then the question becomes unavoidable. Who placed it there? And for what purpose? As Kaku moved from science into mythology, his voice grew more serious. He showed ancient depictions from Sumerian, Mayan, and Egyptian civilizations. In many of these texts, the moon was not described as something that had always been there. Instead, it was described as an arrival, a newcomer to the sky, even a teacher. Some stories spoke of nights long ago when the moon didn't exist. Others told of sky gods descending from it. For centuries, historians treated these accounts as poetic metaphors. But when placed alongside the new lunar data, those old myths began to feel less like stories and more like distant memories preserved through symbolism. Even lunar eclipses began to take on new meaning. The moon's size and distance are so precise that it can perfectly block the sun during a total eclipse. This exact alignment is extremely rare in the universe. In fact, Earth is the only known planet where this perfect match occurs. Is it coincidence? Or could it be cosmic engineering designed for observation? Or even spectacle? The deeper Kaku went, the clearer the mystery became. The moon might not only influence Earth's geology, it might have influenced human consciousness for thousands of years. The final part of the presentation was perhaps the most chilling. Using subsurface radar and high-frequency tomography, scientists discovered reflective materials beneath the moon's crust. These materials appeared to be metals unknown to modern science. They were scattered in geometric arrays that absorbed and redirected radar waves in ways no natural mineral formation could achieve. These weren't simple ores buried in rock. They looked like alloys designed for a purpose. When scientists subjected these materials to simulated stress tests in virtual models, the results were remarkable. The structures behave like shielding, protective casing designed to survive extreme pressure, time, and even massive impacts. Kaku carefully suggested, without making a direct claim, that what we might be looking at are the remnants of an ancient machine. Or perhaps something even more unsettling, a dormant system waiting to be activated. Moonquakes, those strange seismic echoes recorded since the Apollo missions, suddenly seemed different. For decades they were explained as simple geological events. But with the new data, those echoes started to sound less like natural tremors and more like internal movements. Signals. Reverberations from something deep inside. The moon wasn't just mysterious anymore. It was responding. And that meant one thing: something inside it might still be listening. One of the most haunting revelations Kaku presented wasn't actually new information at all. It had been hidden in plain sight for more than 50 years. During the Apollo 12 mission, NASA engineers deliberately crashed the ascent stage of the lunar module into the moon's surface in order to study seismic activity. What they recorded shocked them. The moon rang like a bell for nearly an hour. At the time, many scientists dismissed this as a strange technical anomaly. But now, with a better understanding of the moon's internal structure, that data has resurfaced like a forgotten warning. Natural rock doesn't resonate like that, unless it's hollow and reinforced. Kaku referenced new simulations using advanced AI-powered geological models. The results suggested only two possible explanations. Either the moon is drastically different from every other planetary body we've studied, or it isn't a natural planetary body at all. Even more unsettling, later impact events produced the same bell-like echoes across multiple Apollo missions. The moon behaved like a perfectly tuned instrument. And that leads to a chilling question: who built the instrument, and why would it be designed to respond to collisions? Kaku then turned to another mystery that has quietly puzzled scientists for years: the moon's strange emissions. Radio astronomers have detected low-frequency bursts coming from the far side of the moon. These signals don't match any known geological activity or solar interaction. They are highly localized, appearing at specific coordinates and repeating at consistent intervals. It's almost as if they respond to orbital positions, or even lunar phases. When researchers processed these signals through advanced algorithms, some of them revealed repeating patterns that looked surprisingly digital. The pulses resembled early computer-like signals. Could it be a forgotten beacon? A long-dormant surveillance system? Kaku didn't confirm such ideas, but he pointed out something difficult to ignore. These frequencies often spike when deep space probes pass behind the moon. That coincidence is becoming harder for scientists to dismiss. Whatever lies beneath that dusty surface might not just be ancient. It might be aware. And perhaps even aware of us. Another baffling mystery involves the moon's orbit itself. It almost appears to have been placed with incredible precision. The moon's size and distance allow it to perfectly cover the sun during a total solar eclipse, something that happens nowhere else in the solar system. But that's only part of the puzzle. Orbital simulations show that the moon's path is unusually stable. Most moons in our solar system wobble or shift over long periods of time. Our moon barely does. Even more remarkable is its tidal locking with Earth. The moon rotates at exactly the same speed as it orbits Earth, meaning we always see the same side of it. Textbooks explain this as a natural result of gravitational forces. But the probability of it happening so perfectly, creating a consistent eclipse system, is incredibly small. It almost looks as if the moon was designed to perform a role, to orbit, to stabilize, to observe, or perhaps even to monitor. And Michio Kaku, a scientist known for optimism and rational thinking, admitted he could no longer comfortably call that arrangement natural. Perhaps the most disturbing part of the presentation wasn't the science at all. It was what seemed to be missing. Kaku referenced dozens of original Apollo mission recordings, including telemetry data and high-frequency voice transmissions from astronauts that have either disappeared or were mysteriously recorded over. Some of these tapes reportedly captured astronaut reactions to unidentified lights, strange mechanical sounds beneath the surface, and moments when communications suddenly failed while orbiting the far side of the Moon. Former NASA insiders, some now in their final years, have begun speaking about missing reports, redacted documents, and private briefings where astronauts were told never to discuss certain experiences from their missions. Kaku has always been careful about conspiracy theories, but even he admitted that the silence surrounding these records has become difficult to ignore. If the Moon truly is something older, more complex, and possibly artificial, then perhaps the people who know the truth have been protecting it for a reason. And that reason might be more frightening than the truth itself. When Michio Kaku finally stepped away from the podium, the room was silent. Not the silence of curiosity or scientific excitement, but the heavy silence that follows a disturbing realization. For generations, humanity has looked at the Moon as a symbol of beauty, peace, and romance. But now it seemed to cast a much darker shadow. What if the Moon isn't a natural satellite? What if it isn't lifeless? What if it isn't even ours? From its impossible orbit to its hollow echoes, from ancient myths to missing NASA recordings, everything we thought we understood suddenly seemed uncertain. And if a scientist like Michio Kaku, a man grounded in logic and physics, struggles to speak about what the Moon might truly be, then perhaps it's time for all of us to pay attention. Because this mystery may no longer be just about astronomy. It may be about who, or what, placed the Moon there in the first place, and why it might still be watching us. Now the question becomes, what happens next? If we dig deeper into the Moon's secrets, if we uncover what lies beneath its surface, could we awaken something that was never meant to be found? Let me know what you think. Do you believe the Moon is completely natural? Or could it be something far more mysterious? And if this revelation surprised you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because what we explore in the next video might change everything you thought you knew about the sky above us. Sometimes the truth isn't somewhere far out in space. Sometimes it has been right above us all along.